in drinking. When I grew up in Riverton, everybody drank. I thought by picking up at age of 12, I thought it was normal. Had one brother that froze to death in Riverton. I had another brother that wrapped himself around a telephone pole. I had a sister that I don't even know what it is, froze in the car, fell asleep. And then I had another brother that drank himself to death. Playing in the National Hockey League back in the 70s is that alcohol was always provided for you. It was in the dressing room, it was on the bus, it was on an airplane. I played many games hungover. I had a great career, but my personal life was bad. Gary Dornhofer said to me one year that I went off and scored only 24 goals, he said, "Reggie, you better go back to drinking again. You're miserable, you're not playing well, you're not scoring." I'm not sure if he was serious or just a joke. I quit 3 or 4 times on my own. But I always did it for the wrong reason. I always did it for the hockey team or my kids, my wife, and you have to do it for yourself. I am alcoholic. Being an alcoholic, it ruins everybody's lives. And for all the years I was drinking, I hurt a lot of people. Alcohol ruined my marriage. It ruined my relationship with my kids. Alcohol took over my whole life, and I had to stop to get myself straightened out again. So I quit hockey in 1984. I got divorced in 1984, and I quit drinking in 1984. So there was 2 negatives for me and 1 positive. The positive part was that when I quit drinking in 1984, I went to rehab. I was sitting beside this, I'll say white guy, okay? So we got talking, and he says to me, so he knew who I was. So he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I was telling him I did the drug and alcohol thing with the native kids and everything else." So we were talking and everything. And he says to me, "Don't you think it's a waste of time?" Who drinks in here? Okay? Who drinks in here? As soon as I ask the questions, their eyes goes down, their heads go down. So I think there's a little more than 2 people in this room that drink. But I'm going to tell you something, okay? I went through the same thing you guys went through as picking up, like I said, I picked up at the age of 12. I know it was a bad choice, but it's up to you guys to make the right choice.
Hear my brother beat the drum, beat until the circle come around. To keep them strong, he'll beat the drum all night long and sing away.
As far as I'm concerned, if I talk to 1,000 kids, if I can get one of them to listen or even think about it, I'm doing a job.
Leach has remarried and runs a landscaping business in Philadelphia. And in between his anti-alcohol workshops, he attends Flyer alumni functions with some old teammates who have also heard the drum.
They understood that when I went to these banquets, people always say, the biggest thing was they would always say, "Come on, Reggie, you can have one drink. They will never hurt you." And there was times that you got guys like Bob Daly and Horace Kinderchuk. They would actually get mad at these people, and they would just sternly and say, "He does not drink, and don't offer him any more," and that's it.
All professional athletes have to deal with the problems that come with the high profile they occupy in society, the pressure of performing, and the temptations that go hand in hand with fame and fortune. Hockey players have been described as different because many come from small towns and retain small town values. But those values of trust and family can be taken advantage of. Can they overcome the obstacles of bigotry and bad business? The story of Brian Trottier provides one answer. Brian Trottier rose from humble beginnings in the small town of Val-Marie, Saskatchewan, to become the most successful native player in NHL history, winning 7 Stanley Cups and finishing 7th in all-time NHL scoring. Trottier is the Métis child of a Cree Chipewyan father and a non-native mother.
And I'd go to school and I'd come home crying because kids called me half-breed. I didn't even know what a half-breed was, but I just would get in fist fights and come home with black eyes.
Partly